you guys don't know what's going on today from the title, we're going to go through this Facebook group. And this Facebook group is a group that is basically full of gig economy drivers. But I noticed a few things. There's a few things in here that are concerns, red flags especially. And I feel like Facebook should actually take action and remove these groups. Because first things first, if we want to be able to control how accounts are shared, we need to stop people from being able to share the accounts. Groups like this here in front of me.
Delivery drivers, Deliveroo, Uber, Just Eat, Amazon, Goffer/all.
And I feel like the people involved should be investigated as well, because the fact that you have these rules up here that specifically state that people speak English only, no renting, scamming or other schemes like that, tax and all the rest of it. Look, there's just so many different things on here. But if we actually go to, let's see. Okay, this is an hour ago, right? Can someone please help me? First things first, you should have checked your emails. Another one here. You need to be Googling whether Just Eat is taking on drivers. Let's see. Okay, now this here is instant a red flag, and it's shared by an anonymous member, which it was shared on the 23rd of December. This person wants to know if there's a way to resolve this issue here. Now, if you can see on the screen, it states the reason is fake documents. It took the 21st, 22nd, instantly declined within 24 hours. If we come over here to this person's comment, most drivers are using fake insurance certificates. Well, I think we found out what your problem is. You've already admitted you're using fake insurance. Now, this is one of the issues within this group. Just one of them, okay? Now, as you continue to go down, a lot of people love to take the mick out of these groups. Now, the only reason I would be in this group is because I like to read the comments, and sometimes you can't help it. It's because some people just put up foolish things. For example, it says fake document, and then you still want to know how do you resolve this issue. That does not make no sense. Now, this one I found very entertaining. The only reason we're going to entertain this is because I kept losing basically. It kept telling me no, that I wasn't winning. But according to this, quite a few people did actually win on the Deliveroo wheel over Christmas. So, lucky them, eh? Right, has anyone issues with UberEats driver? Account was active before. Now, if you notice on this image, this person's put up a message here and they're asking if there's anyone else that's had this problem and how do you resolve the issue. Now, when I look here and I see this, it says sublet, right? The subletter, ID, details, #2. So that means you must have 2 people sublet on your account, because it would say #1, or they do that for the second person. But you haven't given any documentation for this driver. So why would they be allowed to drive? And bear in mind, you who owns this account is responsible for doing all of the checks, whether this person is on the register or if they're safe to work within a set environment. All of these things come down to you. As you can see here, all of your checks are done correct, but this person isn't. That's where the issue lies, and that issue there is more than likely because it's a rented account. And you know what's crazy? Your name. That's wild. I'm not gonna lie. Block anyone who has messaged you offering services to help you. They are trying to scam you. Okay, so what this person doesn't realize is the person that's got the account is more than likely the scammer. More than likely, because this name is very suspicious. Same issue I'm facing. Well, that's why you don't rent your account out. That's the God's honest truth. Okay? Now look here. I applied 3 weeks and still nothing. Well, you're still waiting for checks to come through. Someone here is telling this person that it took him years, but this is a Deliveroo account, yeah, so that once again, that depends on how long the waiting list is in your location. Hi, I'm new to the food delivery as a part-time. What's the best food insurance? Okay, so if you're a driver and you're a cyclist like myself, all companies insure you as in you, the person that's under the account. If you're subletting to someone else, they've got to work that out. And as far as I'm aware, you need a moped or a car to acquire liability insurance for food deliveries as a cyclist. If you want to put it underneath your own name, that is. I can't help with that. I have an UberEats account and I'm subletting. They're asking for ID verifications and subletting the photos, video documents. I don't know about video documents. You see, this here shouldn't be allowed on this site. This is 100% someone that is going to rent the account out, and they have been renting the account out, and they've been now declined access because that person doesn't have the correct identification. And you know what's crazy, right? I'm going to show you something. That person's face you just seen there is a part of this group. And you're a creator that makes videos in the same space. Do you understand? Like, talk about put yourself in the wrong place. But let's go back. Because there is so many other groups. For example here. Now this is actually good information, right? This person now has a DoorDash card, and if you didn't realise, UberEats is about to release a card, and it's the same thing. You won't have to pay no fees or anything like that. Obviously that person looks like they're missing some sort of money. Hi, I need advice. Is in good standard, no violations. E-bike, but I was. So then you need to reply again and just wait. That's basically it. Everything's gone through. It seems to be clean. It's being patient. I guess it's different depending on the country, because the thing that it is that how many drivers are online. For example, if you want to know how to apply for Deliveroo, Indeed, if you go into Indeed and Deliveroo's recruiting for your area that you're applying for, you're more than likely going to get on quick. That means there isn't a waiting list. They need drivers. For main cities like London, Birmingham, Manchester, there's always going to be a waiting list because there's a lot of drivers trying to apply. Just Eat is actually taking on drivers as well right now across the UK. They've opened up quite a lot of zones in Birmingham, so that's something that if you're a driver and you're looking for work and you haven't got Just Eat on your application, I suggest you go put it on your CV. Now there was something else, right? Like this here. This shouldn't be allowed in these groups. Facebook, this is something that you need to be monitoring, especially right now with the high threat that is around rented accounts. This is basically someone asking for information on how to complete their document check, and obviously this isn't in English, so I can't interact with it, but it's quite obvious from the image in the background. What I am looking for is drivers have been sharing their rates and showing that they are see, this page seems to be more of America than it is England compared to the first page. Also, I think DoorDash has come out with this idea, or not idea, they're about to put it into play for that, where restaurants or drivers can select up to 3 restaurants that they don't want to deliver for. I think that's a perfect idea for all applications. See, once again, this is something that shouldn't be shared, because this is a conversation between the driver and the customer. Now, I read this earlier on, right? I feel bad for this guy because you can blatantly tell that he hasn't taken the order. The restaurant obviously had no one else to blame, so they've put it on you because you was the last person that they could see on the tablet. So that's kind of harsh. But at the same time, I don't think messages like this should be allowed to be shared on these pages, these groups, because you then get people that will sit here and start giving this guy messages, and all these little scammers that will be like, hey, we can help you get your account reactivated and all the rest of it. And if you're wondering why you don't see them comments on my videos, it's because I take the time to restrict them and remove them. I really do. And I'm one person, and I control all of my accounts at this present time by myself. So if I can do that, and one group had what, 6 people, 8 people in it, why are the messages there? You need to do more. Especially when it comes to the driver a community, and then you lot are picking up that everything has to be in English so that you understand what shouldn't be shown. That shouldn't be shown. It shouldn't be available. And I don't care if people don't like what I'm saying or how I'm putting it across, because recently I've seen news articles, and these news articles are blaming the companies. Like, it's the easiest option for them. But the truth of it is that it's drivers like myself. I personally would never rent my account out. I wear a mask. I don't want some random person having access to my personal information. Every single UberEats account, if you go through the account, you can find the insurance policy, which then gives you the person's full name, address, and everything else. So bear in mind, if you're someone that's scamming drivers, yeah, eventually they will locate you if they still have access to the account. And if they haven't already found it and taken that information, then boy, I don't know what they're doing. But look, as we can see, there is a lot of stuff going on here. I cancelled the delivery due to safety. Okay, so more than likely you didn't give Uber the correct information before cancelling this delivery. But then why do you have a screenshot of this information, which is what's displayed for the customer? And it even says at the time of you taking this message was 6 minutes, 2.3 miles away. So I feel like, so far this person's talking about not parking in someone's driving way, Christmas lights, especially at this time of year. Oh boy, this sounds like a hell of a lot have happened. I was forced downhill. Do you know what? Yeah, that's one I can't help you on. This is where it becomes funny, because the comments, yes, for sure. Cancel. See, I'm not gonna lie, I have worked day and night, and I've never had any of these strange, like, tell a lie, I have. Tell a lie, I have, yeah. I have. I just had a flashback that I wish I didn't have. It's probably one of the most awkwardest moments ever. I don't think I'm ready to share that story on the internet, but yeah. Okay. So, yeah, like what I'm seeing here is most of this group is in America, and I can't seem to find what I'm really looking for. See, once again, this is information that shouldn't be shared. Again. This is just all red flags. Who controls this group? Right, well, I'm not finding what I need in here. Let's go back. What do we have here? Deliveroo. I think that's the same group I was just in. So literally, now look here, Deliveroo riders. See, these comments are crazy though. Some people just go too far. And this is another reason why I feel like this whole situation with these groups should just be shut down. Because this person's generally asking for some sort of help. But most people just want to laugh or take the piss out of the guy. You know? Like, look at these messed up comments. If you don't jump for Brits, how they want you to. they will lie. So I get it. He's had a hard time with a customer, but you don't need to go and do all that dumbness in the comments. You're not making it any better for the guy. He's already having a hard situation as it is. This person put the wrong address. Well, yeah, so what you do in this situation is you go to the correct address and you mark it as delivered. That's what Uber tells you to do. They're that fed up of people trying to call up and ask for the address to be exchanged to a new one. They tell you to just go to the previous address. If you don't feel comfortable to go to the other one, mark it as that. There's nothing else for you to do. It's your only option. You sitting here having this long conversation with the customer and then sharing it on the internet makes all drivers look bad. This whole thing here is a negative situation. This isn't for the internet. Do you understand? Like, I get it. I'll go and make a video out of my situation, but I wouldn't go and place all of this in my video. That's a conversation between you and the customer. What I personally would have done is gone to the first address, told Uber that I've been given the wrong address. I don't feel comfortable going to the other address. It's quite far away, etc. I don't know what I'm riding into. They would have said, marked and delivered, dispose of the order however you see fit. At that time, the customer's not getting a refund because the customer's made the choice to pick the wrong address. And at times, I understand, going to a completely different address that's not on the application now isn't a secure location for you. Not that you're riding to a secure location every time, but you're a little bit safer going to the address that's on app. It does make more sense. But yeah, I don't know what none of this is. Okay, here's another group. Now, I think in this group, a lot of drivers just tend to complain about the distance that they're being paid in the job. And, you know, there was a comment that I read earlier on, was that people are too greedy, you know? You're expecting more than you need, in other words. If you don't want the job, don't take it. Just decline it. Let it go on to someone else that will take it. It's not hard. Information like this isn't what's supposed to be shared. It's just not right. And I get it, it doesn't have a person's full address, but why are we leaking this information just for a comment? You know? What application is this? This is definitely a different application across the States. It's probably the Lyft one. Like, look at that. $326 in 8 hours on Christmas. That's crazy. Wow, we're sharing full pictures and all types of stuff. How nice of you, Dave. You know, you got that lady's whole insurance there and everything, and I'm gonna have to blur her out. That's just messed up, man. What did she do to you? Can anyone else confirm? For all you out there. Okay, so you're not happy that Uber's putting out this person's full information. I'm just going to cut that part out of the video. Be real. We're skipping that. Lord have mercy. I'm going to have to blur that lady's face out or something crazy like that. But yeah, the point being is these accounts here are pointless. They truly are. And the fact that you control who's commenting, for example, I made a comment on a video, on a post, okay? Let me see if I can find this person's post. Boom. See right here? Right? Now my comment was simple. This person's asking how long does it basically wait for Deliveroo to complete all their checks, once all checks are complete, to go online. So I said to them, waiting time vary between between areas, basically, depending on how many people are on the waiting list. For example, in Birmingham, Deliveroo's waiting list can take up to 2 to 3 years. That got declined. It got declined. I wonder why it got declined. Huh? Because the people that control the group are obviously restricting stuff. But it brings us back to this. Why was this left up? This was posted on the 23rd of December. It is currently the 27th. So, you know. Facebook, I think you need to do way better. Because a lot of this stuff like fake ID and people asking for help with it shouldn't be allowed up here. You shouldn't be allowing this to be posted. Things like subletting. This person's asking for help on how to correct this subletting issue. Like, none of this should be allowed to be shared. You know? Look, even here, I made another comment. And this person's asking how long will it take to start the job. That's probably one of the most decent questions on here for someone that's actually looking for help. Oh, but look, my comment was declined. Declined. And all I was trying to do was help. You get it? For those that are wondering if you are applying for UberEats, once you do the all the checks and everything like this person has here, this one here normally takes about 3 weeks if you go to the post office. And it will cost you around £11 or something crazy like that. So, all the rest of these here will be done by Uber. And your right to work check will be done with the criminal record check. Which is the post office, in other words. So, yeah. You know what's crazy? This guy got his driver's license checked before he did the bank or anything else. I think for me, a lot of it went through at the same time. Yeah. When I actually originally signed up to Deliveroo, you would go to their office on Broad Street and sit in there and do all the paperwork with them in the office. And all of the tests on your phone, you'd have to answer all the questions, all of the rest of it. The whole room was full of people doing exactly the same thing. So I personally think that all companies need to have drivers face-to-face for accounts and issues, so that way you can see whose account should be allowed to stay online and whose account should be shut down. With that being said, if it comes up instantly with a subletting issue, terminate the account. Plain and simple. Don't give them a second chance. If you can see they've been trying to use the account to rent it out, same thing. Get rid of it. And we're seeing big improvements in that factor because, what was it? Yeah, Just Eat's taking on new drivers. And we haven't seen that since the Just Eat hub shut down. So for them to be taking on new drivers and opening up more zones around me in Birmingham. For example, for Just Eat, I only had the city centre zone. And I'm not going to lie, I was probably one of the first people to apply to cycle in the city with Just Eat. And then I told other drivers and they told other people, etc., etc. And that's how word gets around. With that being said, we've known about this now for like 2-3 weeks. I'm going to be honest with you all. I did keep it quiet for one simple fact. I just wanted to monitor and see what was going on within them zones. And believe me, enroll. I don't know what you're waiting for. Like I told you guys earlier on in the video, if you're trying to do Deliveroo, check on Indeed. They love to pick their jobs on Indeed for recruiting drivers. If you don't believe me, go and check it for yourself. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, my mask looks a bit off today for some reason. I'm all preying myself in it, thinking like, why do I look strange like that? But I don't know. Either way, I think our next video is going to be working New Year's, and yeah, I've got something else coming up for you all to involve cycling and another character. Maybe you can take a guess, leave it in the comments. I did leak it the other day, so if you've seen that, you might already know. But you are still welcome to have a comment down below and let's just see how it goes. And if you guys can suggest any other characters that you think would be cool to ride in, we'll check it out and see what happens. It seems to entertain the public as well as much as it does the customers, so I figured, hey, let's get another one on the go. And this one's actually being custom made for me as we speak, so hopefully it does show up and it fits perfect. But yeah, on that note, Facebook, do better. And if you're a creator in this scene and you're supporting things like this, it does look quite bad for you, don't it? You know? Let's just be honest. If you're leaving the comments where people are trying to bot people in your videos, shame on you. Do better. Right? Because if there's a driver that actually is legit, doesn't speak current English fully to the best, and they're getting scammed because they've seen it off of your video, you've left it there for that person to get robbed. Are you making money off of it? Why is it there? Make it make sense. How is a brand going to look at your video, pre them comments, and think, oh yeah, we can work with this person? You know? You should be ashamed, man. But until next time, you guys know what it is. For any other viewers out there watching, thank you for subscribing and bless. I'll catch you guys soon.